20 years ago this year, I got my amateur radio license. I remember getting my first radio, setting it up, tuning it to the local 2-meter repeater, and I went to go and press the PTT button, and I froze. What do I talk about? How does my call sign go again? Is it mine or is it the other station's? What's the correct etiquette? How do I call CQ? What if I mess up? Have you ever felt the same way, nervous about speaking on the air? Well, rest assured, you're not alone. But how can you overcome this and gain the confidence to pick up the microphone and call CQ? Well, first, understand that mic fright is a common experience. When you think about it, you're talking on radio frequencies that can be heard by anyone, even worldwide. Even the most experienced ham operators weren't as confident as they are now. I know that when I started as a beginner, I faced the same jitters and the same uncertainties. It's completely normal to feel anxious when you're putting your voice out there for others to hear. I even experienced that right here on YouTube. I was very nervous about talking about ham radio and all sorts of different things. I didn't know how people would respond. Mic fright is actually, though, a natural response. Our bodies can perceive speaking in a new or public setting as a form of exposure. Now, it's also tied to our fear of judgment or making mistakes in front of others. This fear can amplify our nervousness, making us overly critical of ourselves. For instance, you might start thinking, what will the other amateurs think of me if I mess up? Now, the key to gaining confidence on the air is preparation. Now, you can do this in a number of ways. By becoming comfortable with your ham radio equipment is one. Knowing how to operate your radio confidently can significantly reduce anxiety. So take the time to learn about the different functions and operations of your radio. For instance, know how to adjust and position your microphone for clear audio. Practice holding or positioning it at the right distance from your mouth. About 6 to 8 inches is pretty good. Some radios, especially the Chinese ones like Baofeng, they have a reputation for low microphone audio. So if you hold it out here, it's too low. Holding it closer to your mouth while transmitting will help others understand you more clearly. Before getting on the air, it's helpful to prepare a script or at least bullet points of what you want to say. This can provide a clear structure and help you stay on track during your transmission. And if you ever get stuck, talk about the weather. Ham radio operators love talking about the weather. If there's nothing else to talk about the weather. When it comes to call signs, here's a good tip. Write the following down and have it handy when you plan to get on the air. Their call sign, this is your call sign. You are signal report. Fill this in with your own call sign if it helps. Also write down your call sign in its phonetic form. Now Google the phonetic alphabet. You can print this out and keep it handy. This will help when you're trying to listen for call signs, and having something visual will assist you to be able to understand what call sign you're actually hearing. Another effective method also is to record yourself. Listen to the playback to identify areas where you can improve, such as enunciation, pacing, and tone. The number one thing though that you can do is listen, and listen even more. Listening to experienced operators on the air can provide valuable insights. Spend some time tuning into different frequencies and observe how others handle their conversations. And you'll notice how operators introduce themselves, engage in conversation, and how they sign off. You can understand these patterns and they can help you to develop your own style.
Roger, Frank. Zulu, Lima 1, Juliet, Lima Alpha. Foxtrot 5, Papa Alpha Uniform. From Zulu, Lima 1, Juliet, Lima Alpha. CQDX, Victor Kilo 2, Golf, Juliet Charlie. Victor Kilo 2, Golf, Juliet Charlie, CQDX.
Listening will also allow you to observe the etiquette and flow of conversations. Now, you'll notice how operators take turns speaking, handle interruptions, and manage disagreements, because they happen on the air, or technical issues. Now, this can give you a sense of the unwritten rules and help you to feel more prepared. You can participate in local nets or listening sessions as well. Some of these are meant for new operators, so search for a net or ask about any that might be happening in your local area if you feel comfortable doing so. These are structured gatherings where operators, they'll check in and share some updates or what's happening, And it's a great way to practice in a supportive environment, and you can learn from others doing that way. Don't hesitate to reach out to other operators with questions. Most of them are happy to share their knowledge and offer tips to newcomers. Now that you've listened, the next step is to go ahead and press that PTT button. When you're just starting out, it's best to begin with shorter transmissions. Start with maybe simple check-ins or responses rather than leading to long conversations. This allows you to get more comfortable with speaking on the air without fear of being overwhelmed. When transmitting, aim to speak clearly and at a moderate pace. Rushing can make your message hard to understand, and it might increase your anxiety. A calm and friendly tone can make both you and your listeners more comfortable, and you'll just be easier to understand. When you're on the air, focus on the message you want to convey rather than the fear of speaking. Remember, you're connecting with others who share the same passion as you. So shift your focus from your anxiety to the content of the message that you're passing. If you forget what the other station said, don't be afraid to ask them to repeat it. Now, I use this trick a lot when I'm mobile. I just can't concentrate on multiple things. So I pretend that a loud truck drove past, or I had QRM noise, or something came on my radio, rather than actually saying I wasn't listening to them. And it works an absolute treat. I suppose I've let my secret out now. But visualization can also be a powerful tool. When you're having a conversation on air, picture yourself speaking with that person face to face, like you would in a normal conversation. And engage with ham radio clubs or online forums. Being part of a community can provide immense support and encouragement. You'll find others who share your interests, and they can offer advice, tips, and also some companionship. Or feel free to come back to this video, post your questions, your worries, or your advice below, and continue the conversation with others who are more than happy to help. Don't be afraid to ask for feedback from experienced operators. Constructive criticism can help you identify areas for improvement and build confidence. If you can find a mentor within the community who can guide you, provide feedback, and share their experiences, it can accelerate your learning and boost your confidence. Now, recently I had a new operator say to me that they call really quickly on the repeater, or they don't even use it for fear of tying it up. Now, to be honest, I had a bit of a laugh about this, and I simply replied, well, the repeaters don't get used enough as it is, so if anyone complains for it being used too much, well, it's not hard for those people that are complaining to find a silent repeater to listen to. But back to gaining confidence, remember, everyone makes mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, view them as learning opportunities. Each mistake you make is a step towards becoming a more skilled and more confident operator. Now, you can encourage yourself to focus on progress rather than perfection. Celebrate those small victories and improvements, and over time, these small steps will add up to significant gains in confidence and skill. Now, remember though, building confidence on the air takes time and practice. It's a journey, and every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Don't get discouraged by mistakes. Use them as learning opportunities. And this is super, super important. Don't be discouraged by anyone. You've probably heard the term sad ham coined. You'll 100% come across these individuals. What I would do is ignore them, spin the dial, and surround yourself with others who will help you rather than hinder you. Now, with the tips we've discussed, you'll be well on your way to becoming a confident ham radio operator. Keep practicing, stay patient, and believe in your ability to improve. I'd love to hear about your experiences with overcoming mic fright, or if you even have any additional tips or stories then you'd like to share, drop them below in the comments. Now that you've gained confidence on the air, the next thing to know is, when starting out, what's the 101s, the etiquette, and a little bit more? Well, I can help you with that in these videos over here.